All right, so this is your student spreadsheet that you typed in before. You already typed in all your data. The part 1 worksheet that you're going to take is actually part 2 because it's kind of changing these things on here. One thing it wants you to do under step 2 is add a header for the title. To do that, you go to Insert, Header and Footer, and it gives you this little space up here at the top, and it actually changes your view a little bit here. It wants you to type in line 1 what your period is. So we're in period 4, and your computer class. And then line 2, I want you to type your name, whatever it is. All right, then to get out of this, well, to change these things, you got to click back up to the Home tab to make it size 18, to make it bold like you should a normal title. All right, then you can click out of this, and it gets you out. Now, notice it's overlapping a little bit. That's why it has you do step 3. Step 3 has you go to Page Layout, Margins, Custom Margins, and then you are going to change the top margin, according to the directions, is 1.25. As soon as you click OK, you'll see now you've got some more room up here. All right. Step 4 tells you to put the column headings in bold. These are column headings. To do that, first of all, if you don't like this view that you're currently in, you can go to View, Normal, and it switches you back to this view that looks a little more recognizable. I'm going to highlight this entire row 1. And I'm going to make it bold, centered, and size 15. So bold, centered, size 15. If you notice under the sizes, there is no 15, so that means you have to type in a 15. Okay? Which it's kind of frozen on me. There you go. All right, then it wants you to highlight the entire spreadsheet, so Control A, and switch to a font that's called Eco Font. What this Eco Font is a font that uses less ink than a normal font. And you know the most expensive thing about a printer is the ink. So if you use this font, it looks normal when you print it out, but it uses like 1/3 of the less ink. So it's kind of cool, actually. Then step 6, it tells you, it wants you to put in a sum for cells C14 and D14. So here's C14 and D14. And what I want you to do is add these numbers together. So I'm going to type in the word total over here just so we know. Okay, and the sum function is right here. You click where you want the answer to go. You make sure you have the sum function selected. Click on it, and it tries to highlight whatever's above it. You need to re-highlight because it always highlights that little blank space, so you have to re-highlight. Press Enter, and it does it for you. I'm also going to highlight, do the sum for the siblings. Okay, I'm going to re-highlight that. Press Enter. We don't really need to find the total for age because that doesn't really make any sense. Okay, and then average. We're going to do the same thing, but now we're going to do this. It's a function again. These are both called functions. This one, you do average. It's going to, again, try to highlight everything, but it highlights those blank lines, so you need to re-click and drag. Press Enter. This one totally misguesses. It thinks you want to do that, but you need to retell it, no, I want to find the average of those. Okay, now I'm going to click here. Average. Again, it did it wrong. Oh, did I do the sum accidentally? All right, we'll do it. There we go. All right. Then what I want you to do is highlight cells B15 through D15. So these 3 answers. And it wants you to change it to 2 decimal places. Right here are the decimal places. You can either decrease or increase it. I want you to increase it to 2 decimal places because a lot of times if you know anything about averages, averages tend to have a whole lot of different decimal places, so you want to change it down to 2. Then it also wants you to highlight rows 14 and 15, the 2 we just did, and change it to bold and 15. Again, here, bold, here, 15. All right. This last step has you highlight columns A through D, and you're going to change the column width. It wants you to do auto fit, where it will automatically make the column wide enough so it just barely fits. And then it also wants you to change the row height. So you go row height, and I believe it tells you to make it 30, so everything's a little bit taller. Then, and I'm going to zoom out a little bit here so you can see it. Then it also wants you to add in what's called borders. Right here are the borders.